right, now you as a soul are the created creator. You have a distinct position. You get to walk spiritually with the creator, and then you get to bring forth your expressions into the material world. Now, fortunately, you don't have to learn how to do this. You already know how to do this. Everything's already set up for you. So, for example, you have a dominion of image. Everything that comes out of you, all of your creations, gets stamped with your image, whether you're conscious of it or not. It happens. It's happening all the time. Nothing that can come out of you escapes being branded with your image. You also have a kingdom of nature. Everything in your world that you're aware of moves like you. It's energized by you. You're the source of it all. It's this whole kingdom that looks and feels and moves like you. And you also have a nation of your likeness. You're conforming everything in your world so that it looks like you. Relationships, finances, possessions, you want everything to look like you. And that's something you're supposed to be doing. You say, well, why do I create my image and my nature and my likeness? Because that's how the Creator creates. And He has given you this distinct way of creating because it's His way of creating. He wants you to learn from Him and then practice and express with your free will. So in this way, you are a very small, as a single person, you're a very small but a complex expression of the Creator. Nothing else in creation is a union of the spiritual and the material. The human being, though, you are a spiritual soul and a material body. So although you're small, you're the most complex creation that exists because you're very similar to the Creator, at least compared to the rest of what exists in this world. So let's zoom in on a dominion of image. How do you bring forth this dominion of image? How do you establish it? The good news is it was established at your inception. Your soul is the spiritual image. Everything that comes out of that soul gets branded with your image. Even if you look at an embryo, it replicates by replicating itself. So the image that starts is the image that keeps getting replicated out. You don't need to participate in this, it does it automatically. Now, what does tend to happen is you avoid planning your dominion, and this is strategic because you know if you put forth conscious plans for doing great things and changing the world and bring a dominion into your image, you know that creation is going to see who you are. So you have a tendency, not all the time, but most of the time, you will avoid planning your dominion because then your fingerprints are on the plans, and when things get to be a mess or a disaster, creation will point and look at you. And again, you're trying not to brand certain thoughts, emotions, and actions because they look evil to you, so you don't want to brand them, but they do get branded whether you want to or not. And creation's very good at investigating. So when a disaster comes out, when something is ruined, when finances or relationships or health goes awry, you try to blame other things and other people. But it doesn't work. Creation always finds you out because every creation you form, everything that comes out of you is branded in your image. So your dominion is a created soul image. You start with a spiritual soul image and you're steadily, progressively creating an external material dominion that's in the image of your soul. So let's look at a kingdom of nature. How do you have a kingdom of nature? Well, first thing is you are the energizing source for everything in your world. Now, there's a bigger world than you. There's a bigger world than even your world, but you're only conscious of your kingdom, your world, and everything in that world moves like you. It's being energized by your spiritual nature. And as you move your world, it moves like you. So your body, your actions end up moving like you. Your emotions feel like you. These are the created expressions of your nature. And what you're doing is you're trying to connect a whole kingdom. Because anybody, if you look at history, when kingdoms fail, it's because the resource connections have faltered. Something breaks or an attacking army cuts off part of the kingdom, that connection is broken, and then the kingdom is severed. So you innately know that establishing those connections, which deliver your spiritual energy, your spiritual power, is what sustains your kingdom. And of course, that in the fallen world is also what brings death to your kingdom, because your spiritual nature is darkness, decay, and death, and that's what's flowing through your connections. So eventually everything falls into decay. So your kingdom is a soul created movement. It's moving like you, it's expanding like you, and that is why inevitably everything moves towards death, because that is what is flowing through the connections. That is the energy and motion that you have, an utter abyss of nothingness. So let's then look at the nature of likeness. How are you making your whole material world to look like you? Now, the place to start is your body. The first thing you do, and the thing you're always doing, is you're forming your physical body to look like you. Now, this might seem a little counterproductive because your body never fully obeys the way you want it to look, right? And that is because you're really trying to conform it to who you really are as a spiritual being, which is death. And your body doesn't want to die. So it's going to fight you tooth and nail to stay away from looking just like you. So it's going to try to work with you as much as it can, but it doesn't want to fully look like you, because then it'll die. But eventually that happens anyway. So you form your body first, then you wear it. It fits your soul pretty well. You wear the body. Now, the nation gets worn by your body. So first thing is your soul gets up in the morning, you put your body on, technically speaking, and then the world around you starts coming alive, coming awake. The sun comes up, your relationship there, your finance there, your vehicles, wherever you go in the day, that gets attached to your body. Now eventually that all crumbles. It gets too heavy for your body. The nation, the world around you, the life you have, it gets weighty, pulls down your body, and that drags you into death. But that's only because what's inside the body, your soul, can't handle that load. Now, one thing you're also doing is you're always trying to conform everything in the world around you to your likeness. This isn't wrong. You're supposed to do this. The problem is when you're conforming the world to your likeness, when you're making your nation look like you, but your soul's not allowing the spiritual creator to conform you first. So conforming the world to your likeness is good unless you're not allowing the creator to do that to you first. Once you are allowing him to do that to you first, he's making you into love and light and life, and then when you conform your world, you do the same. So your nation is a soul created likeness. Everything in your world, everything beyond your soul, is working to make an image, a nature, and a likeness of you. And that's how you express yourself into this material world. You walk with the spiritual creator. He forms you in his image, his likeness, his nature, and then you take those things, put your free will in there, and express your image, your likeness, your nature. And that's how you express yourself into creation.